All right, and we are back with the Blamegirl podcast with,
Mr. Terry Wayne.
and we have Dan. Where'd Dan go?
He went to go do the thing you asked him to do.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Dan. Are you using your phone for this?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to explain what he was doing.
I didn't know. Okay, we have Dan Caso in the house. He's doing some sharing for the podcast.
I'm here now.
Appreciate that. So welcome, Dan. How you doing?
What's up? I'm good. I didn't even get to. I jumped right back. I didn't even get to share it.
Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Share it after. So, how was your weekend? What'd you do this weekend?
It was good. Friday had Abby Ballin's show at Noodle Station.
How was that show? I haven't done it.
It was great. She packed it full of people that came for a comedy show,
Dope.
And everyone did well.
You get naked at that show, I heard.
Yeah, no one got completely naked. She took it. She took out her tits a little bit for tips, but
she's a real one, huh? She a trooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was
But cool. It was a great show. She put together a hell of a show, man. Hennessy crushed, headlining, and everyone else did well.
Yeah. You do anything else fun this weekend?
Saturday, just relaxed and caught up on sleep. Watched just TV and stuff. I watched Many Saints of Newark this weekend. That's pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You saw it, Terry?
Yeah, I did.
Terry, how was your weekend?
Not great. I was laid up, pretty sick all weekend.
How are you feeling?
Better now.
You were able to make it today.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, this isn't really that physically exerting.
Oh yeah? Wait till we start arguing.
Anytime you want. My vocal cords are fine.
Oh, okay. You can always mansplain, huh?
Mm-hmm. Never too sick for that.
So I'll just wait for someone to ask me.
How was your weekend?
Yeah, how was your weekend? Was it good?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Yeah, it was really good. I don't remember doing anything Friday. If I did, I forgot. Saturday, I went on a ghost tour. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I went on a ghost tour and it was cool. They gave us like little equipment to use and stuff, and nothing happened while we were on the ghost tour. But afterwards, while we were having dinner, there were some other ladies that had been on the ghost tour too, and they showed us their pictures. And they had some ghosts in their pictures, y'all. It was crazy. So that was a lot of fun. Shut up, Terry. It's like,
but like orbs?
No, so there was a window, right, in the bathroom, and we were all in that bathroom, and it had set off a piece of equipment, but not all of the equipment, right? And so
you saw a dead person's face.
Somebody's head was a head that was, it was weird because it wasn't like in front of the window, but it was like in front of the blinds, and it was just the head. It was so weird. And then maybe it's some, effects they have. I don't know. But then
maybe it's a plant.
The other, but it wasn't a part of the show. No one pointed this out to us. That just fucking happened to these random ladies we ran into. And then they took another picture. They were taking pictures with their phone, and they caught a reflection off of a picture. And I was like, well, maybe it's just a reflection of this guy that was over here. And they were like, no, there was no one there. And then I looked at it a little closer, and it was just the top portion, like a head. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I can't, they have nothing to gain. So.
Yeah, you can't pay a ghost.
What'd you say?
You can't pay a ghost to be in the picture. Can't be a plant.
You can pay ghosts? What capitalism would look like? Okay.
Yeah, how would you pay a ghost?
And then Sunday, I did the Tribe of Assholes shoot. Guys, Tribe of Assholes, they've got the Laughing Spree Comedy Fest coming up. Please support it. It's a big festival. They've got Andrew Schultz. They've got another big headliner that's escaping me.
Jim Norton.
Jim
Norton. Brian
Callen. So these are some big names. We're trying to make South Florida a household name for comedy. So let's support if you're a comedian, and if you're just not and you're a fan of comedy. Get your tickets.
What do you mean they're trying to make Florida? The whole rest of the country already sees this as a joke. So perfect.
It's because you live here, Terry. It's because you live here. All right. Shall we get to it, guys? Shall we get to blaming? Are you ready for some blaming, Dan Caso?
Yeah, let's blame.
Yeah, just say yes.
I'm ready to blame.
All right. So this week, in COVID news, a 10-year-old girl who was tasked the job of escorting her classmates who had COVID symptoms to the nurse died of COVID. Who's to blame, guys? Go.
The person who put a child in an unvaccinated, like you can't vaccinate children. So they looked at this little unvaccinated girl and said, all right, you're now the COVID queen. You have to shuttle active COVID patients back and forth. Can't get like, I don't know, a janitor or somebody to do that shit? Or
oh, wow.
A teacher.
That's my answer. The janitor's to blame.
That's right.
You gotta explain your blame.
He didn't sterilize enough, and he didn't do his job, and he's a piece of shit.
Oh, Dan Caso. Oh, yo, I can't believe that they did this. And I just got to say this. I bet whoever gave this child this job is pro-life.
Probably.
Yeah. I bet they're pro-life.
But yeah, no, they don't care about kids. They don't care about lives once they're born.
So her parents say that she was given the classroom job and she loved doing the job because she loved helping people. But she was escorting symptomatic students to the nurse. And now the school officials are investigating whether or not the classroom job violated district protocol because they want to pass the buck down to the teacher, clearly.
Yeah.
You think it's the teacher's fault alone, or is it? I don't know. I don't feel like it's just the teacher. Why didn't the nurse say, yo, stop?
Here's my... You told me to stop?
No, I said, why didn't the nurse say, yo, stop?
It's just saying.
No, here's the thing. The teachers should know better. Because ask yourself, why are they shuttling kids to the nurse in the first place? So that other kids won't get it in the class. So you put a kid with them? It's so stupid.
And they can't get vaccinated. Y'all
No, none of those kids are vaccinated. They can't be.
Yeah. That's wild that no one really said anything.
I mean, that's dumb. That's just flat out dumb. And the fact that it's coming from educators is just really disappointing.
It killed a kid.
Well, no, a disease killed a kid, but their negligence didn't help.
Their negligence killed that kid. Yeah, if she would have just gotten in the classroom, I wouldn't be able to say, oh, their negligence killed a kid.
Maybe it was murder by COVID.
I mean, pretty much. Let me find out it was the black girl. Let me find out. It was the black girl.
Why? Does your life have more value then?
Yeah.
No. Oh. It has more value if you're white in this world. So
that's true. That's the only reason why anybody's looking for that laundry guy.
We're not going to give him any more attention on this show until he gets down. Did we even talk about that? Okay, guys.
Oh, yeah, we did.
You know, Florida, we might become the latest state to study recreational drugs as a treatment for depression. And this excites me. This is something that's been close to my heart for a long time. I've always pushed for alternate treatments for various things, not just mental health, but, LSD can help with alcoholism, and psilocybin can help you get, you quit tobacco. So who's to blame? Why are we finally getting on board with this type of progressive idea here in Florida, guys?
Oh, I don't think we are, and I don't like it. So
what?
Yeah, I don't think that they should be. I don't think they should be fucking around with these natural drugs. I mean, you go down and you get your Oxycontin and you take it like an American. Okay.
What character are you doing tonight, man? Like, shut up. You don't believe
No,
that.
I think it's a great idea. I think I was reading for a while about the treatments that they've been doing with psilocybin, and not so much LSD, because that's man-made, but the psilocybin treatments, they've actually shown a lot of great potential, especially when it comes to things like anxiety and depression, like you said, addiction treatment. I mean, they're doing the same thing with ketamine right now. You can legally take ketamine. You just have to go to a place.
All right, Dan, what are your thoughts here? I'm really interested to know.
I got plenty of thoughts on that. Well, yeah, I mean, it's Florida's, I mean, as far as it being just now accepted in Florida, Florida's the last to catch on with a lot of shit. I mean, it's a deeply corrupt state, but and a state that has basically been built off drugs in one form or another. I mean, the city of Miami was built off cocaine, and then you have the rest of Florida that profited greatly off pharmacological sales. And I mean, Florida is the state that so many people like me from the Northeast got addicted to pain pills because people were coming down to Florida because they had almost zero regulation on opiate prescriptions. And then they would fill up a bunch and go to hit all these different pain management doctors. And then they would bring pain pills back up to the Northeast to get a bunch of kids hooked on those. And then we all started doing heroin eventually. So it's funny to think that
I just want to interject, Dan, not to mention they also profit off the business of rehabilitating drug users, right?
Oh yes,
right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a incredible revolving door that they've created on the east coast of our country where people get hooked on opiates up in the north. They're sent back down to Florida. They either stay down here and get their lives together, or they relapse and go back north and come back down and come back down. Never stops. And they do it until they die, or they end up in prison for the rest of their life.
So what do you think about this move? Do you think this,
very common,
this can be used to treat some addictions as well?
Right. Yeah. So to just get back to the point, it's just funny that there's a state's like kind of pushing back or slow to adapt the idea that there's just, safer drugs that could help people, when it's the state that's responsible for the opiate crisis and cocaine trafficking, like the bulk of cocaine trafficking. And
well, I think a big part of it on my side is like they are just following in line with the Texas GOP, which I don't know what's pushing them into this direction, but I think it's good. It'd be really good for veterans and just all kinds of people treating PTSD and depression. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I've always preached as Blamegirl, my birth father, he died of a heroin overdose when I was in 8th grade. And I didn't really know him because he was addicted to heroin. But I found out that, and through a Law and Order episode of all things, that there's a drug called ibogaine, and it cures heroin addiction. But it's not legal here because our FDA stands for fucking dumb asses. You know what I'm saying? So, but these moves mean like it's just so much progression, because I've been talking about this for 10 years, and this is really cool that it's happening in the state that I'm living in. And not just that, on top of that, I don't know if y'all saw 9 Strangers. It's a new series on Hulu, but it's about microdosing, and it's very interesting. But this is something that's new, a new part of the capitalism, like the microdosing. It's, I guess, legal.
Well, yeah. That's the sick irony too, is that people in Silicon Valley are microdosing when originally LSD hit culture, and it was like this thing that opened people's eyes to like the nature of money and capitalism and what the corporatocracy was, and so now it's being used to like feed that machine. The mind expanding properties of LSD are being harnessed to make more efficient the engineering of big tech and the big tech industry. And but yeah, I mean, these alternatives for SSRIs, and it's all great. I mean, but it's just sad that like the answer is always just money and greed. Like there's no money to be made to take a person out of the pharmacological or medical system, you know, because if you just introduce a one-time experience that might just change the trajectory of the rest of their life, what money is there to be made? They're not going to have to go back into treatment centers or clinicians and you know, use all the different drugs that they give you in treatment centers. Yeah, it's obvious. It's like this kind of shit isn't even like, used to kind of have to like be into fringe politics and shit to understand how this shit really works. But now it's just common knowledge, like just of how deeply corrupt the country is. There's nothing we could do. It's just so much greater than us. And
well,
and like
I want to say I don't think there's nothing we can do. I think it's like, you know, slow and steady wins the race. Like it's changed since 10 years ago when I was talking about like, what the fuck, this stuff can help people. You know what I'm saying? LSD, mushrooms, all this stuff. And now
I'm hopeful.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful for the benefits of these drugs. I just don't know how quickly it's going to happen. But
totally. And right now, it's just in the studying phase. Sorry, go ahead, Terry.
That's all right. A couple of years ago, I was really into this, and I've read a lot of these research papers that they did. Mm-hmm. You can find them online. And I mean, some of the success rates they had, especially with like vets with PTSD, well, it was incredible. It was incredible. Yeah. Just with the microdosing psilocybin.
And MDMA, like with a clinician doing like therapy sessions, talk therapy sessions while on MDMA.
Yeah. Now I found a different, sensory deprivation. I found that really helpful. And it was actually really cool too. It was, you know, you'd hallucinate after a while.
Like it's not a drug though. Have you ever done LSD? That's the question.
No.
Dan, have you ever done LSD? I have, I'll be honest.
Oh yeah.
No, I did shrooms. Shrooms. Yeah, but no LSD.
And what's interesting about LSD, I don't know, like some of these drugs are weird. The government has studied LSD, and like I met the most interesting guy who said, you know, he's done a lot of LSD. We know that makes you clinically insane is what they say. But he said, he's like, I know the answer to life. He seemed like the happiest person I'd ever met in my life. Of course, it was a white man, but I'm just kidding. Yeah. Sorry.
My dad's the same way. He used to sell LSD in the 70s.
Your dad? Preacher?
Yeah, this was pre-preacher days. This was pre-preacher days. No, he used to sell pot and LSD. He said in 1978 or 77, I can't remember which one, but one of those years, he said I did over 250 hits of acid in that year.
Clinically insane then.
Oh yeah, probably.
That's what they say. You know who else is clinically
quite a bit,
guys? Donald Trump. And he is feeling the heat from the investigation into the insurrection on January 6th. And that is because I know this because he's saying, defy those subpoenas. Who's to blame, y'all?
All of his supporters that have reinforced all this bullshit for like 6 years now. Just look, he doesn't really have a barometer on morality for himself or what right and wrong is. So as people cheer enough for it, he'll do it. That's it. If you're going to like him because of he's doing something probably horrible, he'll just, oh, well, everybody seems to love it because all my fans love it. Well, yeah.
Like break the law, y'all.
You can't listen to your fans all the time, man. You gotta listen to your critics.
Oh, these people, like, he don't care if y'all go to jail. Did you see what happened before? Like, Dan, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I think Trump's just hilarious, but I have a bad sense of humor, you know. I miss Trump. I think he was so funny. Like,
it's very common.
I mean, he's a bad president, but he was hilarious, and we got him because we deserved him, and he's a byproduct of what our culture's become, and it never should have been possible to elect a guy like that in the first place. But
That
The
truer words have never been spoken there, sir.
yeah, it's just, and that's the only reason. Because it's my privilege to a certain extent, sure, but like, I just laughed at it the entire time because it was like, we're just fucked. So I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
I know. It would
I have enough.
be hysterical if he wasn't in charge. You know what I mean? Like I used to laugh at the guy when he's beefing with fucking Rosie O'Donnell, or shit like that. That's hilarious. But as soon as you give the kid the keys to the car, it's not funny anymore.
I don't know. I think that
It was just so bizarre to
on
see.
this move, maybe, when it comes to law, you often challenge it just to make more law. And so the privilege on post-presidential privilege is very unclear when it comes to the law. And he's acting like, oh, I'm just trying to make it more clear,
Oh, you're talking about executive privilege. Hang on though, Dan, what were you gonna say?
I want to swing.
I don't know. There's just I don't know.
Privilege. That's what I meant.
There's presidents that came not too long before him who I gotta say I think did more severe things to the rest of the world that like we don't really pay attention to. Like Trump was a terrible president on a domestic front, but like fucking George Bush should have been in a prison for the rest of his life for war crimes. And like Obama too, like they did a lot of like horrible violent shit overseas. And
Trump, I disagree with that notion when it comes to war crimes, really, and that's specifically because they faked a war off of some bullshit, and a lot of people,
and that's not a defense of Trump. That's just like,
it's an indictment of all of them.
It's
an indictment of just the presidential office and like how it's been abused forever. And like, I think, I don't know, man, of course, Trump was a ridiculously bad president, but you just wonder how much of what we heard and what people said about him was just kind of the byproduct of a person deliberately vilified reporting in the media. And like, because like most people that like deeply hate Trump can't give like an intelligent list of the things they actually hate about him in a real sense. It's just the obvious stuff, like how badly he spoke and how undignified he was and like unstately, and like he wasn't a good representation of our country at all. But other than that, they can't make like a real intelligent case for why they hated him and his policy. And like, I don't know if I could make a great one.
Well, I hated his policies because he kept doing the same old beating this. He ran on a basis of, I'm going to clean up Washington. I'm going to do things different. I'm going to be an outsider president. And that's what made people like him, because they've been saying that for years in the GOP, or like conservatives have been saying, like, we need somebody outside the box. We need a non-politician. But then he went in and he beat the same old drum the GOP has been doing for 40 years.
But that's what all presidents do. Obama did the same thing in the positive direction, where he said there was going to be hope and change, right? And and didn't deliver on any of his campaign promises. Now, like, if you look at what the two people were as individuals, obviously Obama's your guy you want representing the country. It's a no-brainer.
Well, he did deliver on quite a bit. We do have
at least. We do have Obamacare now. And let me just tell you a little bit what was worse about Trump for me is that he used white supremacy as a means to capitalize, and I don't like that. I don't want
that sucks.
Doing that. And
I wouldn't even say white supremacy.
Like, fuck off. So that's why he was worse than George Bush for me, because George Bush may have kind of done it with Muslims, but not to this extent, And all presidents fake these wars, and they do. That's like part of the job, right? I do agree with that. And with Obama, even though he did it, and I'm not defending him, he at least took our troops out of it and did it with drones. But he was still killing other fucking brown people. So that's, So,
well, not even that. Bill Clinton famously launched a missile strike to distract from the Lewinsky investigation.
Right, but you could get away with it then. That was like way before the internet. You could.
We still had the internet, but it just wasn't awesome.
It wasn't awesome yet. You're right.
And
do you think
I hate Donald Trump as a person, you know, like
Totally.
he has shown his true colors. Like Gio said, he used white supremacy as a chip to get in the game. And, you know, he's like, oh, well, I'll take their votes. I don't have to do what they say, but I'll take their votes. You know, if I just lean this way and just say, well, there's fine people on all sides and blah, 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 you know, just give them little winks, just a little wink, a little nod, you know what I mean? And that'll get their votes out of them. But he didn't just do that. He used every negative, ugly side of white America, from nationalism to racism to capitalism, to their fears of immigrants, to their fears of social change. Like,
yeah, definitely. I mean, you just look at the guy's supporters, and it's like, even if you disagree with what this guy's opposition is doing all the time, you still don't want to lump yourself in with the people that are supporting him, like the people that are still standing on Okeechobee over 95 waving flags at rush hour.
I hate them so much.
It's like,
I hate
it's pathetic.
them so much.
Why,
of course,
y'all?
yeah.
Dude, every day there's a slowdown on 95 because of these idiots. If I'm a fan of why don't the cops chase them off there?
Yeah.
Let them wave their flags, but wave them on Okeechobee, not on the overpass. Oh God, I'd love to just drive by there with a paintball gun.
So yeah,
it's insane. Being a fan of anything that hard is just like, yo, you're a nerd.
Let me ask you something, guys. We're asking about who's to blame for him saying defy these subpoenas. Do you think he's at all afraid that he's going to go to jail?
No, Trump's not going to jail.
I don't see that happen.
No, he'll jump out of the way of that grenade, and everyone around him will go to jail. Trump, if you take a personality profile of Donald Trump and everything that he's done and said over the last 5 years, he is a textbook sociopath. He would sell out his kids to stay out of jail. I'm fairly certain of that.
Yeah. Well, maybe he did too much LSD. I don't know.
No, from what I heard, he's doing too much Adderall.
I was just doing that as a callback because we had someone, John Brown, he says that it is a myth that LSD makes you crazy after 7 trips.
Of course. That's stupid. That's propaganda.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And weed doesn't actually make you put your baby in the oven.
Yeah, it's stupid propaganda. But it's definitely not something that should be like, what the cool thing about it getting legalized and like used in a therapeutic sense is that, like, I mean, when you asked if I took LSD, like, yeah, I've taken way too much. And I started taking it when I was like 16. I wish there was like more public information on like, and like people open about their experiences with it and that kind of shit. Like, because it's like when things are like this, I don't know, below board thing, you can't use them safely. So, I mean, I'm all for like drugs being used in a safer sense, and like making them legal and regulated is how you do that.
And not only that, it drops crime too.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, ever since they've started legalizing weed, I mean, forget about it. That's a ton of money coming out of not just local drug dealers, but cartel, you know, and in turn, terrorism.
Yeah, you take it off. You destroy you get rid of the black market.
Yeah, I know who's smoking more weed this week, and that is Dave Chappelle. And that is because he has been testing these waters, y'all, to see if he is too big to cancel. He had another Netflix special that came out this week called The Closer, and he had some commentary on trans people yet again. And of course, people are coming out wanting to boycott Netflix. And just before the show, Netflix said, "We stand with Dave Chappelle." Who's to blame?
That's right. The alt left, essentially, the super fringe liberal.
The alt left.
Yeah, the super fringe liberals who think they're doing a good job. You know, my dad and me used to call them do-gooders. You know, it's also like what we used to call Karens was do-gooders. Like, hey, you know, you're not supposed to be doing that. Kind of like that. But you lose everybody. You hurt your own cause so much when you become so sensitive to every little thing, and you try to cancel the world, and you can't take a joke, and you're not likable anymore, and you're always on your goddamn soapbox. Don't you realize that you're just putting bullets in the gun of the conservatives? Because now they get to point to you and say, see, I told you if we let them in charge, they have us all wearing, unisex uniforms, and they'll make your kids trans. And, so fucking, it's fear mongering again, but on that side.
I mean, he's challenging cancel culture big time.
Yeah.
Dan,
and that's why he's the GOAT.
Dan, what do you think?
I just watched that special last night. I'm just glad this is the first one of the 4 specials that I really actually found funny. Like, there was like really good jokes in it. It had me laughing pretty hard throughout.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm just glad the special was funny, because like, that's my whole problem with Chappelle now. It's not what he's saying. It's just that he's not really that funny anymore. And it's just all kind of, he's become a different thing. It's good and it's profound and it's important, but it's just not that funny anymore.
Well,
I don't disagree with that. I think that it was like political commentary, but when you get that big, you can do that. And I think that it was just really just towing the line, because he said, I'm not going to do another one of these specials. I'm not talking about LGBT people anymore, LGBTQ people anymore. I'm done.
Chappelle took the same arc as George Carlin. Once he got up to the top, he started using his position to try and make some kind of social change. He was
Sorry, go ahead.
No. He tried to make some kind of social change. Now, they didn't do it exactly the same way, but it's definitely the same arc. I know what you're saying, though, because he has gotten more and more preachy as time has gone by. But I watched that special. I had no problem with it whatsoever. I thought, like Dan said, I thought it was funny. It had me laughing.
Those jokes before, I saw those jokes from last year to this year, because we saw.
Yeah, but I was really high that night, so I forgot.
I don't know. I remember, and I was like touched by his trans friend story. I thought, and then what I was telling someone today, I was like, he didn't just disparage, and it's not like he dangerously disparaged trans people. He wasn't like, go beat their ass, but he had some, again, political commentary on it. But he was also saying, like, he did a joke about murdering your woman. Like, and I'm like, okay, like, he's definitely,
nobody got a problem with that.
He's just definitely trying to make points, right? So, okay, like,
well, there seems to be this, and I hate it because, again, it ruins the cause. There seems to be this mentality these days that if you're different in any way, then you are immune to being made fun of. And fuck that noise. You know what I mean? So you're telling me just because I happen to be born in this shell, that somehow makes me worse or wrong? Nobody wants to feel that way, because none of us picked our team. You think I would have been a 40-year-old white man? No.
Yeah.
No. I want to be a young, beautiful Native American woman. It's the best life ever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously not offended by anything he's said in his specials, nor am I like really ever offended by anything in comedy, because it's just, there's nothing to really offend me about.
Well, it's hypocrites. I talk to some of these comics that have a problem with this kind of shit. Oh, well, don't you think that was over the line? No, because anytime you make a joke about something on stage, especially, you might be offending somebody. Now, that number might, if you make a joke about drunk driving, how do you know there's not a mother in that room that lost her son to a drunk driving accident? It might be a big deal for her, but you kind of can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If I'm going to make a joke about cancer, and then somebody wants to make a joke about something I care about, like, say, suicide, then guess what? I got to take the hits. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I got to be able to, not to mention, it makes dealing with hardship better, so that you can laugh at it and kind of take some of the power away.
Yeah, I agree with that. Of course. I don't know. I think cancel culture is becoming like more and more fake all the time, because like it's kind of exposed itself, and it's been around in this carnation as long as it has now, and people, I don't know, like, because getting canceled really only applies to people that want to work within a mainstream framework, and a pretty rigid one, as far as like entertainment or whatever being in the public eye, because there's with the internet, there's so many ways to like not have to abide by like the corporate nature of Hollywood or entertainment or media at all, and you could still find an audience and make a shitload of money like independently.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Alex Jones is still doing it.
yeah, of course. Like,
I didn't want to get into
They
it's just
banned
like,
him for
like
most.
you really only have to worry about canceling if you're like on Hollywood's A list or Hollywood's B list, or like if you're gonna be within that like strict narrow pool of people that like do something in the ballpark of like entertainment or whatever. It's, I don't know.
I can't wait till
And
it
like
comes time.
and being canceled here, I'll go one step further. Being canceled is like the same as just blowing up now, because if you're canceled, people want to know what you're being canceled for, and there's out of that
out there a lot
huge.
More. You know what? Just to add on to that, Dan, I was thinking with this, because there's all these actors or whatever coming out and being like, "I'm leaving Netflix." I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Right.
You know, you can't cancel Netflix because you're not as big as Netflix or Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is going to bring more capitalism, if you will, to Netflix, and he's not going to get canceled. Like they already said that. But I think just with the whole cancel culture thing, first of all, I think cancel culture is very akin to capitalism, because supply and demand, baby. If the demand's not there, you know, you're not gonna. I mean, they're not gonna seek that supply of homophobia or transphobia or whatever. But
Well,
this, I don't think it was transphobia personally. I'm not trans. I can't, you know, speak for them, but I think they were just jokes. And I think he was just really harping on free speech. And for me, Blamegirl has always been big about free speech, which is why I'm a proud business owner. I own my own business, because I don't want someone telling me what I can and can't say. And to go a little further, today I had a dude going onto my business page, posting my comment from WPTV about Columbus Day. And I had to shut down my recommendations because this asshole did that. You know, like he was trying to cancel me because I don't want to celebrate Columbus Day. So it does kind of trickle down to our level, because you see it. White people are getting fired from their jobs for acting too crazy. You know, I think it's just,
I shouldn't have had to work today because I'm Italian and it was Columbus Day. That's what I think.
Well, to be honest, I don't know why.
Columbus Day, Dan.
I don't know why we're celebrating Columbus Day anyway. We now know he did not discover America. Vikings were here hundreds of years before him.
No, he was here first, and he was an Italian hero. So take it easy.
Okay, I'll leave you your myths, but you can't show up to a place where people already are and then say, "Oh, I found this. Look at me finding stuff." No,
he's a good guy.
That's who we need to be spending time trying to cancel, right? Christopher fucking Columbus, not Dave Chappelle. I don't.
No, we shouldn't be canceling him either. Look,
Dave Chappelle didn't incite any violence towards trans people. Shut the fuck up. You know.
No, yeah, of course not. It's not. Yeah.
The Me Too movement was great. You know how I feel about equality. We're all pieces of shit, so we should be treated equally, regardless of what shall
explain to everyone alike.
Of what shall happen to come out of your mother's vagine.
Yeah. Poop planet.
But what cancel culture has started to become looks a lot like fascism.
Yeah,
it really does. Yeah. It looks a lot like fascism on the other side. Somebody says, you said something or you have an opinion that I don't think is right, so now you're getting punished. Yeah. And that's the very opposite of free speech.
I don't hate it for racism. I gotta say that. I don't hate that these white people get fired for their jobs for fucking saying an N-word or treating black people like shit. I don't hate it. Sorry. But everything else,
right.
And maybe
but that's different.
Maybe I need to check myself. But everything else, like, yeah, like when it comes, are you inciting violence or rape or, you know, something like that, stealing or crime?
Right.
That's what my question is.
Say whatever you want. Just don't Just don't do anything to anybody else. You want to be an asshole, go be an asshole.
And
you want
make your racist jokes. Or
I don't think people shouldn't be legally or financially punished for making bad art. If celebrities or whatever do something that's fucking questionable or illegal in their personal lives, and of course they should face the same consequences that everyone else should face. But someone makes bad art, if someone has a bad opinion, I don't think their lives should be ruined because of it.
No, you should let the free market decide.
Your life should be ruined if you piss on 13-year-old girls and keep them.
Well, that's a crime. That's a different thing altogether.
When you
well, it's just, but it's weird that we have this like these terms that make you think of like this great spectrum of different human behaviors. Like when you think of like cancel culture, like the Me Too movement, you think of someone like Louis C.K. and you think of someone like Bill Cosby, 59 serial rapes, a guy that jerked off in front of a woman. Like
it's permission.
You shouldn't be thinking of those.
Permission.
Yeah, you shouldn't be thinking of those two things. And that's just the weird way things become so convoluted in culture when they just get all fucked up and dirty and bastardized on the internet. Like,
Aziz Ansari is the best example of that.
Dan, I want to say that like Aziz Ansari, like that story bothered me so much because this woman acted like she was afraid to say no. That's not his fault, bitch.
Yeah,
at some point you have to be accountable.
Taught you to say no to dudes when you don't want to fuck them.
Well, so, that was just the story. But that was the story of a rich guy that never learned how to get pussy the regular way. So
what do you mean the regular way? That he took her out. They went on a date. He said, "Would you like to come back to my place?" She did.
Way, right?
I'm saying
they had
what I'm saying. The regular way.
This is the part that blows my mind.
Getting the
they
date
had
in the
oral
first
sex
place
consensually, and then he tried to have regular sex. And she's like, well, no, what? Get the fuck out. You knew every step of where you were going.
What were you saying?
No, all I was saying, it's just like an example of a guy who didn't learn how to date before he had money and was famous. So like when you're dating with like, now that you're famous and people see you on NBC, you think you have a certain amount of influence over people. I mean, and that's not a defense of him. I'm saying it's just like, I think that's what happened. You had this guy that never like learned how to really act around women when he was on a level playing field with them. So then, just be.
But that's the thing also, Dan, like, we got to stop infantilizing women because women need to know also how to act on dates. And if they don't want to do something, they need to know how to vocalize that. And
we've agreed on this one before, Gio, because you can't say women and men are equal and then go, "Oh, I'm a pretty little girl. Hang on." You know what I mean?
They know. I've done it. And if you say no and then he does it, that's rape. Okay.
Well, obviously. Right. And Louis C.K., that's another good point. If I'm having drinks at a bar with a woman and then I say, "Hey, you want to come up to my hotel with me? A hotel room with me?" If she says yes, I'm just expecting we're going to at least fuck around a little,
I'm thinking, oh, he's going to try to fuck me. That's what I'm thinking. But the thing is,
because that's what a normal person would do.
Let me just say this. There's a difference between that and Harvey Keitel, where you're using your position of power.
Harvey Keitel.
No.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel is an Oscar-winning actor.
Okay, don't make Harvey Keitel.
With a huge penis, by the way.
He's just as guilty. They're all complicit. They were all complicit.
Does he have a penis? Then he's guilty.
He did a ton of Miramax films.
All right, guys, I've been enjoying that so much. Like, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We got to interview our guests. Dan, are y'all ready to get a boner? Can I say that still? I couldn't wait to say that tonight. We have Dan Caso in the house. He's a comedian. He is Atlas's dad. He is with us tonight. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So, Dan, how long have you been doing comedy?
About 37 years.
You don't even look 37, dude.
He's not.
It's the fountain of youth.
Dan's like depressed. We had to start talking about Dan. Stop it. We want to celebrate you. How long have you been doing comedy?
4 years. About 4 years.
Dope.
Yeah.
What was your motivation?
Vengeance.
Oh yeah? Tell us about that.
We're not gonna get a serious answer here.
I don't know. You're not gonna get one. I can't. I don't
What
know.
made you? What popped it into your head to like? Maybe I should try this.
I got the performance bug early as a child. I was thrown in theater and stuff when I was very little, and I got addicted to the limelight, and I got played in bands as a youth and hardcore bands in high school and performed music. And then I was down in Florida, and I wanted to do something to express myself, and you didn't have to form a band and deal with other personalities or lug a bunch of gear around. So I was like, hey, I'm pretty funny. I could do stand up, I think. And I gave it a shot. And that's what I did.
How hard was that?
I tried.
That's an easy answer.
But yeah.
Are you glad you got into it?
Sometimes.
I hear that. Yeah. So
yeah.
Okay. So maybe you'll give me a serious answer, maybe you won't. But
probably not.
I'll give both. Know, like, since you've been doing comedy the last 4 years, what has been your proudest moment?
Hannibal Buress told me I was really funny. I met him. He did a pop-up mic in Miami. That's my crowning jewel.
I remember that too. I was like, what the fuck? He got to perform with Hannibal. That's dope. But you've been on Kill Tony.
That was cool too. Yeah.
Hannibal Buress still top set.
That was still more special to me in a way, yeah. But Kill Tony was cool as fuck. That was just luck. They were both luck. That's what fucking comedy is. That's what show business is and entertainment. It's a lot of luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were the two best experiences. Kill Tony and then meeting Hannibal and doing his mic.
What has been like some of the biggest challenges you think you faced as a comedian out here?
Being professional, treating it like I want to do it as a career and what that actually means.
What do you think focus you're doing to be professional and treat it like you?
You got to treat it like a business. I just thought like a lot of things like music and all this shit, like, oh, like if I just get really good at the art, it's just all going to work out. It's just all going to fall in line. And like, that's not the way the world works. So you got to make your own opportunities and can't expect anything to be given to you. And so just like, the comedy grind is so much more than just working on your jokes and becoming as funny as you possibly can be on stage. You got to do all this other shit to even make that matter.
What do you think you have to do? I know one thing is like, you got to diversify your content. You can't just do jokes on stage, right?
Well, I don't know. No, I think you could be strictly funny. You could do that. It's just, you got to just figuring out ways to find your audience, expand your reach as much as possible, because you're not going to please everyone. You just have to get as seen as you possibly can. So then you pull back a certain amount in your net. And that's the way it's always going to be.
And I wouldn't beat yourself up about that too much. I think most people at least come into stand-up or even music, like you said, because I started as a musician as well, was my first stage experience, and then kind of filtered over to comedy. But everybody thinks that show business is this merit-based thing where if you're good, then you'll make it, and that's it, and it's just not true.
Yeah.
But I think American Idol's to blame for that, because it kind of ingrained in some people. America's Idol, America's Got Talent, X Factor, all those talent show things, because they put it like into your subconscious that, oh, if I just go up and sing really well, I'm going to be Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's more to it than that,
Yep. And that's because God's not real.
Don't tell Kelly man. Don't tell Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah,
so
it's just
Have you had the pleasure of traveling with your routine?
Not much, just besides
you lying. I didn't seen you out of state, Dan.
Danny Braff's. Well, yeah, Danny Braff's been good enough to book me up in Jersey. I've got to do some great shows up there with him, but I haven't traveled much. No, I'm not.
Most of the time when he posts like he's in Wisconsin or something, he's just fucking with you.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Terry can't help but do it.
That is true, though.
All the time, Terry.
I do
What,
say
he
I'm
fuck with
places
me
I'm
too.
not a lot.
I
Yeah,
know,
I say I'm
Dan.
places.
I know you say that. I watch your Instagram. It's very funny. Anyway, so Dan,
You got me too. If you remember, I was like, "Oh, so how was Wisconsin?" You're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
that's why.
Liar.
So tell us about who you are. Like, where are you from?
Oh, this can be terrible.
Jersey.
No, he seems
Hey.
excited about it.
I'm from the land of gabagool.
See, I told you.
Yeah. No, I'm from New Jersey. I moved down here when I was 22. So I've been down here 7 years. And that means I'm 47 years old.
In Florida years. In Florida man years, right?
Yep. Yep.
Man.
Yeah. I got some sisters. I got a dad. My mom's dead. Hey, came down to Florida.
Yeah,
That's me.
Why is that? Why is it that so many people from New York and New Jersey just migrate down here?
Because this is the furthest you can run. If you just run in one direction, south. Yeah, this is the
California
furthest you can
seems
go.
like it'd be way further.
A lot of people run away from their problems there too.
I feel like it's probably almost as problematic to go to
So you're admitting that New York and New Jersey are problems.
Well, yeah, I was thrown out of the nest because I became a heroin addict and I had to get 1,400 miles away from my problem.
Oh. I just meant everybody. I wasn't talking about you.
All right.
Yeah, not just that. Yeah,
that.
no, not just that instance, but like all people come down for all varieties of reasons to Florida. That's why it's such a crazy ass place to live, because you have the craziest people from all over the country.
Do you think that getting that far away from your problem is helpful?
It was, yeah. Obviously, I would have been dead probably by now.
Yeah.
I just stayed in Jersey, so of course.
You're too talented to be dead, Dan. You are very. Let's talk about your music. You can rap. And then what other type of music did you do before? Because you said you had a stage presence prior to comedy.
I played like in a hardcore band in high school, recorded like a little album with them and shit.
Kind of
Played a bunch of shows. Hardcore music, like As You Lay Dying kind of stuff. I don't know. Bands you guys may have never heard of, but
can we Google it?
I don't know.
You don't know what hardcore music is?
Hardcore, like metal music.
Can we find his music?
Oh, I thought you meant can you Google hardcore? I was like, all right.
I don't know if there's any of my old band stuff online, unless like the MySpace still exists.
But I tried to find my band's old MySpace. Couldn't find it.
Does it exist?
Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I made music since I was a little guy. My dad was a musician. He was in a drum corps playing like a horn and shit. And so I grew up around it. And like for a long time before I ever got into comedy, I was just trying to figure out as many genres, like producing on my computer and stuff as I could, and play guitar. And
so amazing.
Bass,
I see. It just seems really prevalent in the comedy community that a lot of people make that transition. Like there's so many comedians that did music first, or did music and then switched to comedy, or comedy and then so it's like artist Treese. She was singing. Do you know her? She was singing and doing stuff like that. That's what she did before. And then she did comedy. Nadeem was in.
She's funny as shit,
right? Nadeem was in a boy band, and
Nadeem's a singer.
Rob Kellert was in a boy band.
Elgin David was in a boy band, a pretty successful one in Germany.
Right. Hennessy Williams went to school for vocal performance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's one hand in the other.
It is. It is. It's so interesting.
Well, because comedy's like stand-up comedy, you could just be like, okay, I'm just gonna give up my personality, and like that's gonna be like you're just like marketing your personality now. It's like, well, instead of being in a band and like coming up with a clever name, it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna be Dan Caso, comedian, and then you don't have to move any gear, and
it's rough just trying to sell yourself as an individual as opposed to like a group or a song, or it's raw.
Yeah, but you get different personalities too. I mean, it's like a marriage. Being in a band is like being in a marriage with 4 or 5 other people.
Terry Wayne used to do music. I forgot.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
All right. Yeah. So Dan, are you ready to play the blame game?
Yep. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Dan,
I gotta go potty soon though. I drank a lot of water during this.
You can potty right after the blame game. We'll let you put any shows, and then Terry Wayne will do words for white people. You go potty while we wrap up, okay? All right. So I find that vulnerable and dark humor is often very funny. Dan Caso, Dave Chappelle, included Terry Wayne. Who's to blame? Why is that? Why do we find this dark comedy so funny?
Because it hurts the most.
You think because it hurts the most?
Yeah, the stuff that hurts the most makes you laugh the most. Because it's like that's what laughter is. It's like a transference of pain. So it's like there's more fuel to the fire.
I think that personally for me, I think artists make better art when they're suffering for some reason. I know that's very dark, and but think about musicians like Kanye West. When he was a college dropout, made the best shit. Now he's rich. He's all right, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like artists, I don't care if it's music, I don't care if it's painting, I don't care if it's comedy. You're gonna make some really good art when you're experiencing pain. And,
I don't think it necessarily has to be the the struggling artists pain stricken somewhere. I think that you have
nobody likes Kevin Hart anymore. I'm just kidding.
I'm saying like you have to go through experiences, yes, but you don't have to currently be in pain. You just have to have had pain in your life at some point, because then you can always recall and remember, but you can do it with a clearer head, once you put some, because remember, what is comedy? Comedy is tragedy plus time.
I don't know though. I honestly think that when I look back to a lot of the art that I enjoy, the best art is when my favorite artists were struggling. Period.
Yeah, because
that's why I think that it kind of changes to comedy that way,
Yeah, it's something I think about a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the truth. There's definitely a ton of truth to it. Because generally people it's like two reasons, I think, because like when you're like pursuing some kind of art, when there's some kind of artistic pursuit in your life, some kind of creative pursuit in your life, you're using most of your resources as a person to pursue it if you're really going for it. So like the rest of your life is suffering, and that creates an abundance of pain waiting for you when you're not making the art or you're not involved in the actual creative process.
I hear that.
And like, so like it kind of like just folds in on itself, because like the deeper and deeper you go into your art, the more the rest of your life is going to suffer. That's why like all of our favorite artists are like, even if they never develop drug problems, which most of them do, but even if they didn't do that, they were terrible fathers and they were never home, and like their kids hate them because it takes a ton of sacrifice. It's like a selfish thing to do. And if you're gonna, and selfishness almost always results in pain and like overdoing it. But that's the consequence. That's why it's so unsustainable. That's why there's so many dead creative geniuses and just people that
I think that's a little bit of a cop-out, because
it's not a cop-out, it's the truth.
I'm saying
that's not saying that that's not saying there's no reason to ever recover and get out of it and grow up and change. But I think, I know for myself, like when I was making a ton of music and like I was heavily addicted to drugs, I was investing so much of myself into the music because I had made my life shit. So like, but the art was like an anesthetic to this life that became unbearable. It was my escape to like not have to deal with any of the reality that was waiting for me when I wasn't like, And
it's better than say drugs or alcohol, producing something that maybe you can make into your livelihood would be a better use of your pain, I guess, than just to be like,
Right.
oh, I'm just go get high.
Well, we talked about Louis C.K. He became the most famous comedian on the planet. You know, selling out shows all over the world, but he was still a great father. He never got into drugs or alcohol. So I mean, I think it's possible. I just think it's trap. I mean, there's some validity.
In some way because he was jacking off in front of strangers. Come on, you don't do that.
I would
but that was before. That was before all that anyway. But
it doesn't have to be
I get what you're saying, Dan. I just think it's a trap, you know. And some people get caught in it, and some people don't. You know, for every Louis C.K., there's a Mitch Hedberg. You know,
right? Yeah, it doesn't have to be that way, but I would say because of its, I don't know. I just think there might be a case to be made that because of its frequency, it might be the rule rather than the exception. Because I think the creative mind, when you're too far gone on the creative side of your mind, it does often result in like detriments to the other scope of life that like the non-creative mind is managing, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
No, I know what you
going
mean.
A little too, I'm like losing myself, like going a little too deep on it, like even losing myself in my point, but like.
It makes me think of, Terry loved his special, the at home special, Jeff Durham. Like, I bet his family life suffered while he made that special. You know what I'm saying?
But you mean Bo Burnham?
Oh yeah, Bo Burnham.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I said,
his mental health.
Yeah.
His mental health didn't suffer because of it. He made a great special because his mental health.
No, I'm not saying his mental health suffered. I'm saying his family life probably suffered while he was doing that because he was mentally suffering, in the only way he could, the most healthy way, if you will, for him to cope with it was to produce the art that he did. And it was so great for so many people.
Right.
Yeah. So,
but that's a chicken and the egg kind of situation. Because he was good. He basically documented his own breakdown.
He was in a dark state, and it was great comedy, you know?
It was, but correlation is not causation. He was going to have that meltdown one way or the other. He just said, let me turn this negative into something positive. And he did. And he made a fantastic special out of it.
All right. Dan Caso, do you have anything you want to promote? Where can people catch you this week?
This week, I'm not sure what I got coming up immediately. I'm at Villain Theater. I'm not being Villain Theater like 3 times in the next, like by the end of the month and then the beginning of November. Like 29th, the 5th, and the 12th, I think, or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. But I got other stuff too. I'm blanking right now.
Blanking. Okay.
But I don't do a podcast anymore. Nothing like that.
If you think of anything before the end, we're gonna go to Terry Wayne's Words for White People, and I'll do a little promoting. And then if you think of anything, you can do it. All right, guys, get ready. Terry Wayne's back. You know, I did Words for White People last week, but Terry Wayne's back this week. Terry Wayne, what are your words for white people this week?
We're doing words for all people this week. There's one prevalent problem in our culture. If we solved it, everything else would solve itself. And that is simple, easy, 5-letter word called greed. You know, we torch the planet knowing for 45 years now, we've known about climate change. We torch the planet to make money and be successful. The hardest working people are also the most mentally damaged. And that's who ends up running shit. Because you have to be mentally damaged to work 80 hours a week and put it in front of everything else in your life to become successful and to make all that money and to get to that upper echelon. And in doing so, now we have sociopaths running everything, and all they care about is the stock price. All they care about is this. All they care about is that. All I want is a bigger house or a nicer car because then my friend down the street got one. You know, life is much more, and I know it sounds cheesy, but life is so much more than just the shit you own. You know, I've always said there's 2 different kinds of people. Those who said, I wish I have this, and people who say, I wish I'd done that. And I've always been a done that kind of guy. And I think it's worked out pretty well for me, because the money always came, and it always, it always found its way. As long as I wasn't being irresponsible, it would always find its way to me. And it's not like you're not going to have bills. If you win the lottery tomorrow, probably within 5 years, you're going to have some kind of bills again. So, I mean, just try to focus on things that might be a little more important than just feeling secure financially. Because most of the majority of problems that we have come from greed. It's the same thing we were talking about earlier. We can start an opioid crisis and then walk away, and nobody cares. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people dying in overdoses is a very common story. It's a very sad story. And some people need to go to jail, but we won't, because the almighty dollar rules America, and we let that happen, and we're all culpable in it. So maybe take a break, take a breath, stand back, and look at your life and what actually matters.
All right, those are great words for all people this week. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome.
Think of anything that you would like to promote?
Just Instagram, Dan Caso stuff.
What is your handle on Instagram?
Dan Caso stuff. TUFF. And it's like Dan Caso's tough. It's like a
oh, I never thought of it like that. Okay. All right. Guys,
have you ever put your stuff on Instagram?
Terry, you got anything you want to promote this week?
Yeah, I'll be on Wednesday up at Tavolino's, a great room run by David Aguilar. I've been there a couple times before, and it's always been a whole lot of fun.
And they've got great pizza.
They have fantastic pizza, and
he's a critic.
Okay, and I get to mansplain to everybody about this.
All right, so I will be at, and I really need y'all to go buy tickets, please. I'm the only one who has not sold tickets. Please go. I'm at Laughs on Blast, which is at the Improv on Sunday night. And you can go find the flyer on my page, go to the Eventbrite, look for Laughs on Blast, and use the promo code GEO so they know that I'm selling tickets. Please, please, please. Okay, anyway, I guess that's it. Until next week, guys, thank you for tuning in.